It sometimes seems that one function of the United States is to supply a name that comes at the end of slogans like "Down with U.S. imperialism" and a chant like "Death to the Americans," as in this demonstration in Tehran last June. The Shah was gone, and the mullahs, Muslim religious teachers, had taken power under the Ayatollah Khomeini. They arranged this demonstration. Although the anger and the frustration had been festering for years, the revolution took many by surprise, including the President of the United States. 13 months before the Shah fell, President Carter offered this remarkably unprophetic New Year's toast.
Iran, because of the great leadership of the Shah, is an island of stability in one of the more troubled areas of the world. This is a great tribute to you, Your Majesty, and to your leadership, and to the respect and the admiration and love which your people give to you.
What the United States gave the Shah, aside from flattery, was military might. Mr. Carter was continuing a policy conducted by 5 American presidents before him. In 1972, President Nixon supplied the weapons to make Iran the policeman of the Persian Gulf. This was the Nixon Doctrine, which relied on one strong nation to safeguard a region. The doctrine's critics say it squandered billions and contributed to the Shah's fantasy that Iran was the world's next great power. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger thinks there was no choice.
The Soviet Union had just made a massive arms deal with Iraq and was pouring large quantities of the most modern equipment into Iraq. It already had an arms arrangement with Syria. In some way, these forces had to be counterbalanced. The judgment of the administration in 1972 was that Iran could counterbalance the radical forces. And for a period of 7 years, it did.
The Shah's greatest value was in the Strait of Hormuz. Half the world's oil passes through this crucial choke point. The Shah policed it for 25 years. In 1953, newsreels around the world showed the Shah returning to power through a military coup.
Crown Prince Abdullah greets the Shah as he lands at Baghdad airport after a 7-hour flight from Rome. Here he was to remain overnight as the guest of King Faisal before completing the journey to Tehran. Meanwhile, in Tehran itself, all stood ready to welcome the return of the Shah after the dramatic development in events which first compelled him to flee and then led to a royalist coup d'etat in which Mossadegh was arrested.
If they had realized that it was an American-supported movement, we could have been in quite a lot of trouble.
Kermit Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt's grandson, was the CIA man who plotted the overthrow of Iran's prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, in 1953. Mossadegh had offended the Western powers by nationalizing the oil fields, then owned by the British.
Very competent agents had started a movement. They led a very large and constantly growing mob up the avenue on which the American embassy was at one end, and Mossadegh's house was towards the middle of town. And they went right by the American embassy and the CIA building, which was next door. It gave us considerable encouragement when they saw it. There was a terrific turnout for the Shah when he came back to Tehran. It was quite a strong popular demonstration.
Mr. Roosevelt, when this plan for a coup took shape, it was concealed from the outgoing President of the United States, Harry Truman. Did he not know about the CIA's involvement?
It was Allen Dulles' decision, and he simply felt that there was no need to discuss it with anyone other than the incoming Secretary of State and the incoming President. Every administration, every new administration wants its own thing. And Foster Dulles was enabled to regard this as his own thing. And he did, and he enjoyed it very much.
You had $1 million in cash to run the coup, right?
That's right. And we used about $60,000 of it. That was all.
Are you saying that $60,000 was all it took?
Yeah. I don't know where the money went, and I didn't ask because it was so damn little that no one was going to ask me any questions. All they asked me was, how the dickens did you get away with spending so little?